Should we talk a bit of
Boxing?
No. Listen, I love boxing. I absolutely adore it. But, this along with Fury and AJ, just nothing has happened incredibly slowly.
Yeah. It's been disappointing.
It has.
But it's been a bad couple of...
It's been a bad couple of weeks for boxing.
Yeah, it
has, yeah. Let's talk football. We love football.
Yeah. Come on, Omnia.
Excuse me. What'd you say?
Come on, Omnia.
What would you say?
Is that you said?
Big team, yeah.
Omnia.
Big team.
Neil Lennon.
Yes, he's the manager. Yeah,
nice
he was
guy.
on the breakfast show this morning.
No, I'll never ever slag him off again.
Oh, yeah, of course. That was interesting.
Never again.
Your mob and my mob in action tonight in the Europa League. We were having a chat earlier on about this, you and me. And I said, what's a good season for both? I think it's different for both sides.
Yeah.
Because Arsenal, they won't win the Premier League, right, if we're being honest, right? Man City are ridiculous.
In the mix, but yeah.
Right? But they're in a conversation. There's like, can we win it? You're not having that chat with Man United.
No.
Right? No one is going to Man United with. It's not happening. It's Arsenal.
Even though you could take that performance in isolation, because Manchester City... best believe they'll do that to someone else this season.
It's going to happen against Southampton. It'll keep
but I'm
happening.
talking about a top team. They could do that to pretty much anybody.
Yeah, you'd be worried if you went there.
What, to Arsenal?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
shop.
Of course. It can happen to anyone. They're ridiculous, right? But we're not having that conversation with United. We don't think United are going to push City. We do. At the moment, we do. I mean,
Arsenal look like the most likely to push City.
Arsenal do fall off a cliff in the new year. That happens. That probably will happen. You'll have 2 key injuries and that'll be it.
Don't worry,
we're missing Jesus. That's why we're bottom of the Premier League.
We trust.
Okay, but anyway. So what's a good season for both? Let's start with your side. I want it, by the way, the lines are open. You can have your say, 03717 233. You're going tonight, right?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Okay, what's a good season for Arsenal from where we are now? Quite early on, but Arsenal are doing well.
If they could finish second, listen, top 4 is a must from where they are.
Right.
So that is falling out the top 4 is out of the question, right? The only time you'd probably go, all right, is if they finish 5th and they won the Europa, then you go, oh, wow.
I don't know if Arsenal... You would, right? You'd take that now.
Well, you get high seed in the Champions League. You're in the Champions League.
That's right.
But the only thing is from where
and you win a big competition in Europe.
Exactly.
Right? Don't forget that.
So that you go 5th and Europa, okay. But I'd love Arsenal to finish. Listen, first is there at the minute, but second, if you finish second and you win a type of trophy, League Cup, FA Cup, that's a very, very good season. But minimum requirement this season has to be top 4. Has to be top 4, and I think they've got an unbelievable chance of winning something.
But you would take, and you said this to me earlier on, you take 5th in Europa League.
100%.
I don't know if people would, because that means your league form would fall off a cliff.
Yeah,
as I've suggested,
exactly.
it will.
And that's the only disappointing thing. But not 5th and FA Cup or League Cup.
No, I know that.
It has to be 5th in the Europa League.
Yeah.
Then you go, okay.
How serious do you think footballers now in this competition take at this stage of it?
I think footballers, whatever team managers put out there, they want to do well in this competition.
Yeah.
They want to, it's a European competition at the end of the day. But maybe from a club perspective, it starts to get really serious when you get out of the group and you start to get to the...
When you hear the word final, quarterfinals, semi-finals.
If I'm honest, if Arsenal wasn't in this competition, I'm not watching a lot of the games in this tournament, in the Europa League. You're kind of like, okay. But then when you get to the later stages, then you start to watch it.
What about the fans? You're going tonight. What do you expect? What was it? Just over 60,000?
Yeah.
What do you expect tonight?
50?
Oh, wow. I mean, that's huge, right?
Yeah,
for Europa League.
Yeah, because there's a feel-good factor around the Arsenal. But if you'd have asked me this when Arsenal was struggling, you're lucky 30.
Okay, so 50,000 you think there or thereabouts, right? So the fans taking it seriously even at this stage?
As I said, there's a feel-good factor around the club. I think when there's a feel-good factor around any club, the fans want to go and be part of that regardless. Do you know what I mean? But it's not been that way for such a long time that Arteta's... Obviously, it's taken him a bit of time, but he's slowly bringing that back. And at the minute, the team's playing really, really well. So
you're kicking off at 8 tonight, right? So we'll get team news hopefully just before we come off air, just before 7. Do you expect to go near full strength? You've heard United's pretty strong. You don't?
No, with Liverpool Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes or no? That's the test. Because
was that your gaff, right?
Yeah, but that's the test because listen,
what a game that's going to be.
Arsenal lost to United, but Arsenal very rarely win at Old Trafford.
You didn't lose to United. You got smashed.
Right, lose to United. Arsenal beat Tottenham at the Emirates. Arsenal always beat Tottenham. I think they're unbeaten in the last 30 or something crazy.
Ridiculous,
This is the test because Liverpool beat Arsenal home and away. Do you know what I mean? Last few seasons they've had their way with Arsenal. So this on Sunday again will be another test as to see can Arsenal step up to stand up to the big boys. And I know Liverpool are not playing as well as they probably can do, but still it's another test.
Okay, where do you think your chances of getting Champions League football are higher in this competition or the Premier League?
Premier League.
Okay.
Yeah, Premier League, 100%.
All right. We'll talk. I'm just looking at my producer now. Do you want to do that now, Joe? Is it ready? It is in. Okay. Okay, fine. We'll talk about. We're going to hear from Eddie. The reason I'm stuttering and stammering is because we're waiting to get the audio in from Eddie Hearn. So that will be with us in a moment or two. So stay with us while we're waiting for that to come in. Let's turn our attention now to Manchester United. We can hear from their gaffer Erik ten Hag. Ronaldo starts tonight, but the manager defended his decision to not bring him on. Against City at the weekend.
It's always about you live by the day and you line up the strongest team you have, don't get me wrong, but there are differences. No one is the same in a team, actually, and also the treatment. I will treat everyone with respect, but they have all different backgrounds, and also from character they are different. So also I have to treat players different to get the best out of them, but there are certain general, let's say, values and standards. What counts for everyone.
That was Erik ten Hag, the Man United manager, talking ahead of tonight's game. Of course, the fact that Cristiano Ronaldo starts. You asked Alex Crook a question about Ronaldo, about whether or not you think this could be the start of him starting for United in the Premier League. He said no. He batted it back and said no. Do you agree with that?
It depends, doesn't it? You might get forced into a situation where I very much think that he'd like to be able to move on without Ronaldo. I think that's pretty obvious.
Lots of talk about Ronaldo going in January.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. But again, you've got to find someone to take him and all that he comes with him. Do you know what I mean? The player power, baggage. And it sounds a little bit disrespectful to say that to one of the greatest we've ever seen. But I think Ten Hag wants to move on from Ronaldo. But listen, if he's scoring goals in this competition and playing really well, you can't ignore him, regardless whether you want to move forward or not. If you've got him there and he's scoring goals in this competition regular, and then the likes of Martial, Rashford and Sancho aren't scoring, then he might be left with a situation where it's like, well, I got to use him. But listen, Ronaldo's professional enough to know that if he gets an opportunity, he'll take it. But tonight, it wouldn't surprise me if he scored tonight.
United's best chance of getting Champions League football next season will be where?
So I want to say Europa, but there's a lot of games in the Europa.
And you've got to win it, that's the thing. I know that's obvious, you've got to be last man standing.
You've got to win it, so that's difficult. But then when you look at the inconsistencies in the Premier League, like Chelsea at the minute, you don't know. Liverpool at the minute.
Spurs have not played great yet.
Spurs haven't. Arsenal going really well. Yeah. So you talk about Man City and Arsenal, there's another two spots. There's no reason why United can't be one of them.
You think they will? I think they will.
No,
because of the reasons you've just mentioned.
I'm disrespecting Brighton. They're up there as well.
They won't get Champions League football.
I'm not saying they're not going to get Champions League football, but they can have a say on who does, because they're beating you. Okay. They could beat anyone who they play against.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.